Are you sick of all the fees and the hassle of having a checking account at a big bank? Check out our sponsor, Current, using the link below. I'll tell you more about them at the end of the video. So Twitter, for the first time, has flagged Trump tweets as possibly misleading, essentially a flag they've established to signal fake news. And Donald Trump has absolutely lost his mind and is talking even about shutting down social media platforms that do this. Now, I told you yesterday that Twitter, they kind of have special rules for politicians and prominent figures where normally, for example, you would not be allowed to accuse random people of murder on Twitter and sick your followers on them. But Donald Trump did that to Joe Scarborough, and Twitter allows it because they say when Trump does it, it in and of itself is newsworthy, and thus it should be allowed to stay because it is a catalyst for much reporting. It's newsworthy in and of itself because of the person who is doing it. So yesterday, Donald Trump sent out two tweets with absolute lies about vote by mail, and Twitter flagged them both and provided fact checking. And Donald Trump lost his you-know-what. And this is a technique that Twitter put in place, similar to one that Facebook has when fake news articles are posted. And this is infuriating to Trump. Let's check out the claims and then the truth. And this is so important, not just because good for Twitter for fact checking the president, but it's important because vote by mail is again becoming sort of like the new battle line in the upcoming 2020 election. Donald Trump said, there is no way, zero, that mail-in ballots will be anything less than substantially fraudulent. Mailboxes will be robbed, ballots will be forged, and even illegally printed out and fraudulently signed. The governor of California is sending ballots to millions of people. Anyone living in the state, no matter who they are or how they got there, will get one. That will be followed up with professionals telling all of these people, many of whom have never even thought of voting before, how and for whom to vote. This will be a rigged election. No way. Now, as you can see, if you're looking at this, there's a flag there with an exclamation point that says, get the facts about mail-in ballots, sort of an instant fact check, which tells you, if you click it, that Donald Trump is falsely claiming that mail-in ballots would lead to a rigged election. That's not true. There's no evidence that mail-in ballots are linked to voter fraud. Trump falsely claims California is going to send mail-in ballots to anyone, no matter how they got there, implying undocumented immigrants would get ballots. In fact, not only is that not true, only registered voters would receive ballots. If you live in California but are not registered to vote, you won't get a ballot at all. 5 states have already voted entirely by mail. All states offer some kind of absentee voting, according to NBC News, also part of the fact check. Now, the right wingers who love to cry about anti-conservative discrimination on Twitter and Facebook, they are slamming Twitter for this. But this is exactly what Twitter needs to be doing. CNN and MSNBC and Fox News should be doing it during Trump and Kayleigh McEnany's press briefings. I've talked about responsible platforming, instant fact checking. This is how Donald Trump's tweets should also be handled. Now, the amazing thing is when Twitter did this, Trump tweeted an apology for spreading fake news. Trump deleted his tweets and he thanked Twitter for correcting him. No, obviously that's not true. Trump absolutely lost it when Twitter did this, attacking them and CNN and the Washington Post for some reason, tweeting, quote, Twitter is now interfering in the 2020 presidential election. They are saying my statement on mail-in ballots, which will lead to massive corruption and fraud, is incorrect based on fact checking by fake news CNN and the Amazon Washington Post, adding that, quote, Twitter is completely stifling free speech and I, as president, will not allow it to happen. Then Trump actually tweeting about shutting platforms down, tweeting, quote, Republicans feel that social media platforms totally silence conservatives' voices. We will strongly regulate or close them down. Before we can ever allow this to happen, we saw what they attempted to do and failed in 2016. We can't let a more sophisticated version of that happen again, just like we can't let large-scale mail-in ballots take root in our country. It would be a free-for-all on cheating, forgery, and the theft of ballots. Whoever cheated the most would win. Likewise, social media, clean up your act now. Extremely dangerous, dystopian totalitarian language from the president. We cannot relent on this. I implore Twitter not to relent. I implore other platforms and media outlets on TV to do the exact same thing. Instant fact checking of Donald Trump. What would be amazing would be if Twitter fact checked Trump's attack on Twitter, right? Like, is interference in the elections inclusive of just fact checking the president? No, that's a lie. Are Trump's claims about massive corruption and fraud incorrect? Yes, those are not true. Is fact checking by CNN incorrect? No, Trump is wrong. Now, it should be mentioned, this is the president saying Twitter doing fact checks has something to do with the Constitution's First Amendment. Trump is accusing Twitter of violating his First Amendment rights. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a president this incompetent when it comes to the basics of what the First Amendment is? Twitter has the same First Amendment right to decide which falsehoods and lies they will allow to spread on their private platform, just like other private businesses have the ability and right to do. This was a big topic when I was on with Joe Rogan on Friday. What should the limits be here? Whose rights extend how far when it comes to what Twitter can be compelled to do versus what Twitter is allowed to do as an organization that has terms and conditions? Trump is going to put huge pressure on Twitter and other platforms. It is very clear this is part of the culture war. This is part of the battle lines now. I want this to escalate. Twitter actually could get Trump to completely lose his mind if they keep up the fact checking of his tweets with accurate information. Good for Twitter. I'm not endorsing or criticizing anything else about Twitter other than this is the right thing to do. They should keep doing it. Look at how instantly triggered Donald Trump was. We'll follow what will certainly be a wild next 24 to 48 hours as the fallout from this continues. Keep an eye out. One other warning, and then I want to move on. Keep an eye out for how people around Trump are going to create specious, special pleadings to argue that Twitter should be banned from doing this, essentially. We'll follow up on that when it happens. Let's give it time to develop. We often talk about the many different ways that big banks take advantage of their customers. And one of our sponsors today is Current, which is an online bank for those of us who are sick of dealing with all of the fees and the nonsense from the big banks. I use Current myself. If you're watching this on YouTube, here's my actual Current debit card that I'm holding up. No minimum balance. They have 24/7 support, no overdraft fees up to $100, and it won't get declined. No ATM fees. You can use over 55,000 ATMs nationwide. And unlike other banks, you receive your direct deposits instantly, which means you'll get paid by your employer up to 2 days sooner. You can deposit checks instantly using your camera phone. And unlike other banks, Current instantly refunds the hold on your card from pumping gas. You can pause your debit card instantly, also really useful in many situations. There are just so many different advantages to ditching the big banks and instead use a bank that puts their members first. It takes 2 minutes to sign up. They'll immediately ship you your debit card for free. Go ahead and get started by clicking the link down below the video.